Hello, you are listening to Fiction Fairies, two authors chasing joy and creativity. I'm author Amanda Torrey.
And I'm author Christine DePetrillo. Welcome to our podcast where we amplify joy, whimsy, and the magic of the written word. How are
Ooh,
you, Amanda?
I am doing great. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. It is a rainy day here in Vermont.
Here
My
too.
mountain view is completely obscured by clouds, so I
Oh, but I
it's
love
right in
that.
front of me where I'm sitting right now, and I just see trees, and then it's just all white, no
See, to
mountains.
me, that just sounds kind of heavenly. It's like that mystical magic. So it's either
I know.
nap inducing or muse inducing. Depends on the energy in
Okay.
the air.
I can see that. I can see that. I do enjoy my mountain view, however, I don't like when I can't see it.
Yeah, it's only temporary. It'll
So,
be there.
well,
It'll be there.
and I should say that I have two nights last week. I was out later in the evening, which I'm not usually out after dark.
Wild
Because
child.
you never know what happens to fairies after dark. So,
Oof, and the
um
werewolves roaming the woods.
exactly. So I had been coming home at sunset and the sky was just gorgeous. So I guess I can let this no mountain view go for now because
Mhm.
those were such a treat. I don't know if you've
Aw.
ever seen, you probably have, when you've got those rays of light that come
I'm
down and just look
obsessed
like
with that.
divine light. Right.
Yes.
This sunset was the opposite. The rays came up from the mountains this way, which I
What?
have never seen, to be
Okay,
honest.
that's cool.
Yeah,
That's
and they were
cool.
all like orangey, purpley, like just the sunset colors,
My
but it was
gosh.
like a mountain and then another mountain, and it just kind of came up. It was pretty
What?
awesome. So, yeah.
That reminds me of a time when I was driving with my kids when they were young. They were like preteen maybe, and we saw an upside down rainbow. And I had never seen that before in my
What?
life. I had to Google it. Luckily, it was the age of the smartphone. We were homeschooling, and I was like, "Wow, what an opportunity to learn!" Yeah, it's a thing. But
I've never seen that
I know,
before.
I know. Afterwards, Google it. It's very cool. I was like, "What is happening? Are we in another dimension?" But
I have
I
to
do.
check that out.
Yes, 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 definitely do. And I hope I'm not like hallucinating this now. I'm like, is that real?
No. I mean, once we saw here, we normally get like just the half over here
Mm-hmm.
on the mountain view, which is awesome. But one time I did see the entire arc
Yes,
across the
that's
mountains, and I was like,
magical.
wow.
That's
But
cool,
yeah,
especially with mountains. You would think it would be obscured. Like I've seen the entire arc like in more flat places,
yeah.
but
Well,
have not
and
caught the
what's
leprechaun.
cool is depending on where you're standing, sometimes when I can see, like, the end where it, like, dips into the trees, you can
Mm-hmm.
see, like, the coloration on top of the trees. It's
Oh,
pretty neat. Yeah, it's a pretty
that is
neat thing. It just
beautiful.
looks like somebody went out there with a paintbrush and was like,
Yes.
you
Well,
know?
it's funny
So,
that you say that because literally, as you're talking about how you had this beautiful sun experience yesterday with the beams, and now you have this like cloud cover, I was picturing it as the fairies behind the scenes. Like they're painting you a new scene for
oh,
later. So, like, they just like kind
maybe.
of drew the curtains and they're creating a new masterpiece for you. So,
Maybe. Well, they
be
better hang on
patient,
to
my
it
fairy
because,
friend.
well, I'm gonna be traveling south, so that
Oh,
whatever
yes.
whatever picture they're painting, they better ship it
Mhm.
south because
They
I
will.
won't
They
be
will.
here to
It will
see it.
follow
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
Well, then you'll just have to imagine what you missed out.
Yes. Yeah. I'll have to pick it up on the outdoor cameras. Yeah.
There
Be
you
like, oh,
go. Yeah, there's my
thanks for
masterpiece.
leaving that
Yes.
for me. Yes.
Everything's a digital world now. The fairies are like, "Hey, wait, slow down. We made you something in real time here."
Yeah, true. Yeah, it's not the
Ah,
same if you see it on the camera, that's for sure. Well,
right.
even I took a picture, obviously, like pulled the car right over, rolled the windows down and take a picture of this light
Mhm.
coming up, and of course it was not half as good as
Doesn't have.
sitting there seeing it. So I
Yeah.
took a few and then I'm like, what am I doing? Put the phone down. I'm like, this is a joy right now.
Yeah,
Let's see
true.
it.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, you
yeah.
enjoyed it. And I am all
Yeah.
for documenting joyful things so that you do remember
Yes.
them and you can relive them. But you're right. Sometimes the moment calls for just soaking it up. And
Just
even if
being
you forget it, you had that moment of experiencing the
right.
joy. My daughter
Right.
has always said she wishes that like they would create something that was like in your eye that was like a camera that would capture exactly the way you see
What
it.
you see.
Not like
Yeah.
the new like AI glasses they have that
No,
take
no.
not like that because that's just a camera, but like something that
Yeah.
actually shows exactly what you're seeing. I think that
Yes.
would be
Yes.
really cool.
That would be cool. I would want, an enhancement that it would see it better than I can see it because my vision sucks.
Yeah, you don't want
And
it all blurred.
No, no. So, like, that would need to be a
Mm.
little requirement to have that,
All right. Well,
that little
we'll put a
tuning.
word in with the inventors
Yeah. And
that be.
I also want it to work at night so I can take good full moon pictures, because that's the other
Yes.
time when a camera completely fails me.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. My camera phone is pretty good at zooming in on the moon, but you can't
mm,
get it like with the surroundings. Like I love like the full moon
yes.
through tree branches and you
Yes.
can't
Oh, my
quite get it
favorite.
right. So you definitely need
No.
like, some kind of
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
But
We'll have to
moon.
ask, the next Artemis,
Oh
flight if they'll
yeah.
take us so that we can get an up close. I think the fiction fairies
Yes.
need to go to the moon
I
so that we
I
can
think so.
see it.
NASA, are you listening? We have a
Yes.
request. The
We
fiction we already have
volunteer.
wings.
That's right.
We just need some like oxygen help and stuff.
Yeah. I would never make it on a trip to space, just so you know.
Nor would I. I'm in
Yes.
space
Okay.
enough in my brain, like
Yeah.
that spacey thinking. That's where it
Yeah.
stays.
No. No.
In the like
Yeah.
mythological creative plane.
Right. Right.
So, one of the things we love to do here on Fiction Fairies is to share what's in our magical chalice today. So,
Woohoo.
today I have my favorite Fox travel mug, and
Yay.
I'm using a tea bag from, I think it's Cape Cod Island tea. Somebody gave it to me. It's called Barefoot Blend, which I knew you would appreciate,
Ooh,
especially because
yes.
both of our books feature heroines that are barefoot that are
Yes.
coming out soon. And it's like a white tea with kiwi and strawberry, I think. So,
Ooh.
I was telling, Christine before we started the episode that my tea bag fell into the cup and I cannot retrieve it. So I don't know how it's going to taste when it's sitting in there for a long time, but we shall see.
Yeah, little extra strength on
A
there.
little
And,
extra kiwi.
yeah, it's funny that you went with something kind of like summery fruit, because I actually have just lemon lime water in here. I don't
Oh,
even
oh,
have
lemon lime what?
tea because I was
Oh,
feeling a little crone heated, if you know what I mean.
okay. I
So
do
I
know what
didn't
you
want a
mean.
heated drink. So I was like, let's have
Mm,
some lemon lime water, feel a little closer to summer. So, and I'm
that's
in
nice.
one of my other new
Oh,
mugs.
oh, is that
This
one
one
from your husband?
here
Okay.
has, that's right, of the
Good
series. So
choice.
this one just has sun and moon. This is a
That is
very chunky,
beautiful.
solid
I was gonna
mug. I
say, does
like
it
this
have
one.
like divots? Kind of. It looks. I can't tell if it's
It
just the
does, it's
lighting or if it's
dimpled.
like that's
No, it is, it's
cool.
dimpled. Yeah, yep. It's
Wow,
dimpled like me.
like you. That's why he picked it. Ah, I love
Probably, yes.
it.
So our main goal on this podcast is to meet authors and other creative people, go behind the scenes into the creative process, build a whimsical and weird community, highlight the power of play, and find joy in creativity. So
Mhm.
without further ado, let's not waste any time. Let's get to the joy. Amanda, how did you invite joy into your life since our last episode?
Well, first, I just have to say to share with our joylings that before this episode, we're like, I think we can make this really short. And now we just like went
Yeah.
off the rails because that's what we do. So I
Yep.
love it. I love it. I loved Christine and I could chat for literally 24 hours. Like I think if we had
Yes.
like a just a round the clock podcast, it would work for us. Nobody
Yeah.
might listen, but
No.
we would enjoy
Yeah, a
ourselves.
24-hour podcast, we could totally
Yeah,
do it,
let's do
no
it. Let's
problem.
do it. Maybe that might have to be like that might have to be a goal at some point.
Yeah.
So last night's joy was my monthly book club. I had a small
Ooh.
group. It's busy time of year with things going on. But we afterwards, a few people stayed behind and we were just chatting. And we were talking as women of a certain age do about how we need to do more exercise and things like that. And so I have this thing called Body Groove. I bought a lifetime subscription a long time ago. Are you familiar with it? And so
I
it's
am,
like
yeah.
I love them. I love the energy of this woman who like leads it. And it's just a dance thing and you just put it on the TV and it's people of all different fitness levels. You might have somebody in a wheelchair, you might have like an overweight person, a normal weight person, a regular weight, whatever. Um, all different ages, all different capabilities. Somebody might have like a knee brace on, somebody might be sitting in a chair. And they just like it's the most joyful thing. It's so
Mm,
fun. And I never do it. And it's embarrassing that I never do it. But when I do it, I love it. Right. So I'm talking
mm.
to my friends. I'm like, we should just start a thing where like you guys just come over. I'll clear the furniture. We'll throw it on and you literally just dance. You don't have to do exactly what they're doing on the screen. They're all doing something a little bit different, but they will kind of guide you to, experiment with your body. So anyway, I just wanted to show it to them. So I like put it on so they could see like a sample because it can be hard to really visualize
Visualize.
my
Mm.
crazy explanation. And so I put it on, and some of like we got up and we are just dancing, and everybody's like, "Oh,
Nice.
I don't know if I could do that. I'd feel really uncomfortable." But then we're all doing it, and like, and we only did it. It was literally a sample. Like we were just sitting
Hmm.
here eating book club snacks all night. So, but it was so fun, and so like I'm gonna set it up. Like it brought me a lot of
Nice.
joy. It brought, I think, them some joy, and we were all smiling and laughing, and it was an extension of something we already really enjoy being together, and for book club. So it was I'm gonna put it out there to see if people do come and maybe
Hmm.
just make it a thing, Like I live right
That's
next to a
awesome.
bike path, so I'm like, maybe we can take like a quick 10-minute walk down to see the swans off the bridge to warm up and then come back and
Mm,
just have some fun. And
that is awesome.
it did. It brought a lot of joy. So I woke up kind of smiling about it. Yeah, it was not smiling about some other things, but I did smile
Yeah.
remembering that joy. So my lesson here is just dive in, just don't overthink things,
Yes.
just
No.
go for the joy wherever you can find it.
Yeah. I
So, how
love
about
it. I
you?
love it.
Tell me about your joy.
And well, just
Oh,
to
sorry.
comment on that, like just movement is so important to like
Yes.
overall
Ugh,
well-being, whether it's physical, mental,
mhm,
emotional. Like I
100%.
totally believe that. If there's a day
Mhm,
where I don't get some movement, I just don't feel
mhm.
right.
Yeah, I agree.
Whatever the movement can be,
Mhm.
and I
Yeah.
just I love doing dance workouts. I like
Mhm.
even belly dancing workouts,
I
super
was
fun. I
telling someone
even
about you
have the
last
skirt.
night. Yes. So
Yes.
I was talking
Yes.
about you because one of my friends did a belly dancing class with her daughter. And she's like, "Oh, they even had us wear that thing that jingles." I'm like, "Oh, my friend Christine does that." Like I
Super
want to
fun.
I want
Super
that so
fun.
bad. I just want to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
So,
I'm somebody who has to like vary up the workout. I try to work out
mhm.
Monday through Friday, the weekends or whatever, but they usually involve some kind of outdoor
Mhm.
something physical activity. But I try to vary it up. Like Monday, I'm never like really into it. So Monday,
Mhm.
I'll try to do something that's like cardio, like dance
Mhm.
kind of a thing
Mhm.
that's fun. So then I'm like,
Mhm.
okay, I can get into it
Yeah.
or has
It
really
feels
good
good.
music or something like that. And then Tuesday, I try to lift. Wednesday, I do abs. Thursday I
Mm.
do legs, and then Friday I end again with another like fun
You're
either
so
dance
good.
kind of something. Yeah. Well, I
Christine
I
is
got to
my
do it though
hero.
like this is, here I am type A, right? Cuz I
Yeah.
schedule I'm like this is the time that
Yeah.
I,
This is
work
when I'm
out.
gonna
I
have
take
my fun.
pretty much, because otherwise it'll like I
The
won't
time
do
gets
it. I
away.
won't get done.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Totally agree.
So, but that sounds fun to do it
It
like
was
that.
fun. It was fun. And this isn't even off topic because like it is all about joy, but also the creativity because as you know, yesterday I resumed my morning walks and
Mm,
I was like buzzing with creative
yes.
energy and ideas and I'm messaging Christine wildly like the poor lady's like sleeping, probably. I'm like, you're just gonna wake up to like this many
Yeah.
texts. But it was so potent and it was literally just because I was out walking my body in the
Yeah.
nature. Like I just was soaking it up. It does something. Because
Yeah.
I've been very
No.
sedentary, unusually sedentary this year because I've been so obsessed with writing. And
Yeah.
normally I dictate so I can normally pace. And I'm not like
Mm,
that for some reason. I'm like, no, I'm back to working on the computer. And so I'm sitting at my
mm.
desk for sometimes 18 hours a day and it's wearing on my body. So I'm like,
Yeah.
no, time
Yeah.
to
Well,
make some
that's
changes.
where the balance comes in. I was gonna say balance before because you said you were eating book club snacks and then working out. I'm
Yeah.
like, balance, that's perfectly fine. And that's the same thing. I mean, that's why I think I'm so rigid about I need to work out at this time on these days
Yeah.
because of this so much sitting, right? So,
So
and I'm
much.
not
Yeah.
somebody who can dictate. That's never worked for me. I need to see
Yeah.
it coming up on the screen.
Yeah.
So yeah, but the
Mhm.
movement, I mean, and I've gone to some other workshops and things that are like new age kind of stuff, and
Mm.
every single one of those kinds of things, retreat wise or whatever it is, they always have some kind of movement in them. Like that's
Yes.
just key. It's
Yes.
just key.
Yeah.
And it's really, I think, sometimes I'll start a workout in a bad mood, but like
Mhm.
midway I'm feeling good
Yeah.
again. So I mean the
Yeah.
body really does
Oh,
respond to
totally.
it and is like, okay, let's start pumping the good stuff to the brain. I'm like,
And
okay, we'll
that's
have
the
more of that.
thing, like, knowing that is so potent, but yet I'll still talk myself out of it. Like, I went to Boston on
Yeah.
Sunday with my daughter and we walked a ton. And, that's usually not a problem for me. But the next day, my legs were super stiff. And I'm like, ooh, this isn't comfortable. And so then making myself walk, of course, my long work days are Monday and Tuesday. So I'm very active, but not like in a purposeful way.
Yeah.
So when I went for my walk, I was like, oh, this muscle is just really feeling shriveled up. Like it just felt very
Mm,
tight. But then as I go, it feels great. And then on the way
yeah.
back, you just feel it in your body. It is such a transformation. I'm like, why don't I do this all the time? It feels so
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
But
Agreed.
yeah.
Agreed. Yeah.
So
So our joy is working out.
yeah,
So
totally.
highly recommend that to joylings everywhere to move. I had a really quick joy, which was since we've been on the path of fairy tale retellings, I started to like look for others to read, which
Ooh.
I have read some in the past because I do love
Mhm.
them. But I was like, I haven't read
Mhm.
one in a
For a
while, and
while,
now
yeah.
that we've written some, I want to read another one. So I did
Yeah.
read Once Upon an Enchanted Castle, which was a Beauty and the
Mm.
Beast retelling by Michelle
Okay.
Miles.
Ooh.
And I thoroughly enjoyed her take on
Mhm.
it. It was just, she had like all the classic elements in there, but she had, she had a cool twist on how the beast and prince and on the curse.
Okay.
And what I really liked is she'd made Bella a scribe who translates like hard to read texts.
Oh.
And so this one book is important to the Beast Prince and his predicament. So it was just really a really
I
cool
love it.
read, and I was like, yeah, okay, like
That
I can
sounds
get into this.
interesting.
So
Yeah, I like
yeah,
that.
so
I'll check it
the
out.
link to that, yeah, the link to that book will be in the show notes if you do want it. She has a whole series. There's a Red Riding Hood one
Oh,
which
oh,
I
really?
probably
Oh,
will
cool.
read next. Yep.
Oh,
So and there's
cool.
a Rapunzel one too. So
Okay.
she has them classified as YA fantasy,
Okay.
so there's no
I
spice
was
in
gonna
them.
ask you
There,
about that.
yeah, no
Okay.
spice.
Hmm.
But just really well done. I was fully immersed in the world that she created. So yeah,
Oh, I'll
so
have
that
to
was
check
my
that
joy
out.
there.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
fantastic.
highly recommend. Yeah, she
I
has a
love it.
podcast too, which I'm going to be
Oh,
on
really?
later in November, I think. Yeah.
Hey.
So yeah,
Know this? That's exciting. So you'll be able to talk about
yeah,
your fairy tale. Hmm.
yeah.
Maybe you'll like feel inspired to have another one done before then or something. Squeeze it
Oh
into
gosh, I
your
don't
very
know.
busy schedule.
I don't know. I'm elbow deep in poetry right now,
Yay!
so
Well, that
getting that
delights
all
me.
assembled. Yeah,
That delights me. It's not like I'm trying to pressure you on air publicly for everyone to see or anything.
no,
But
yeah,
but
that's
you
all right.
know, Joylings, if you do when you do read Ruby and the Royal, Christine's take on a grown-up Red Riding Hood and Prince Charming, and you inevitably love it and enjoy it tremendously, please feel free to help me with the pressuring because to
You
see
know it won't
more.
take that much pressure, you know that.
I would
You
love
know
to
I'll
see more
cave
Christine DePetrillo fairy tale retelling.
in the fairy tale world.
Yes.
We'll see. We'll see.
Anyway, yes. So that would be a spirit of joy topic for me to really enjoy.
Okay.
But moving on
Noted.
from there, before Christine, like, sends me like threatening messages or something. Not that she would ever. She would never.
I would never.
She
No.
would never. She just, and if she has an Amanda Torrey voodoo doll, she has not told me, but that could be why I have those mysterious aches and pains.
Yes. Yes, did you say your legs were hurting you? Hmm. Curious.
Show your hands on screen at all times. Anyway, um, this is Amanda uncaffeinated, by the way. Sorry. Today's spirit of joy topic that we would love to invite you joylings into is a discussion on solo dates and side quests. So this is something that we just thought, this is something we've talked about just, as in our friendship. And we thought that it would be something that some of you might need to hear as well. So one of the ways that we have thought of that can like help you find joy and be more creative is to get comfortable with your own company. And that can sound very threatening to us sometimes, right? You're like, why would I want to spend time by myself? I'm always with myself in my own head, whatever. But there is something very potent about it, which we would love to explore with you. So, in today's episode, we're going to talk about taking yourself out on solo dates and engaging in individual side quests.
Ooh, and Joylings, you do need to know that Amanda is the queen of traveling solo dates.
Ooh,
I bowed
oh,
down
oh,
before her experience, the
well,
queen.
then I
Oh,
guess I got to be the queen of something. So,
yep,
I got to have my crown ready for my queening. What do you call it?
you're queendom,
What do you call it when you're like, they give you the crown? Uh,
coronation,
I did never. I like queening.
coronation. I like queening better too.
We'll stick with queening.
Yeah, I like queening.
The funny thing is, like, I will take this queen title for this. However, I wasn't always comfortable with being by myself. That was sort of an evolution to get to this point where I really do love, spending time by myself. Um, so like, if you like think back to like when you're young, and maybe I'm sure there are people that are like way more confident than I was as a child. I was not a confident person. And whenever I would be alone, it would felt like I was some kind of loser, didn't have friends, and people were gonna think these bad things of me. And like, like as I've gotten older, I have learned that people are very seldom thinking about you as much as you are, because they're busy feeling insecure about their own situations or whatever. But, it used to be like embarrassing to be in public alone in some sort. So nowadays, when we're out alone, we do have crutches. We can like look at our phones. So I think like younger people nowadays, maybe they don't have this kind of fear of being alone, and maybe they do still, but at least like when you have your phone, you can pretend like, oh, I'm talking to someone, or they're meeting me here or something. But even so, like that's a nice early crutch when you're first starting to go out by yourself. But we also would love to see you move away from that and just be very confident in you know being on your own and being very comfortable with that. So like in terms of like raising a family and stuff, you're always surrounded by people. You don't even, you might want to be alone. You never really can, but as the kids get older, they move out. All of my children are grown adults now and have lives of their own. There aren't as many people around to do the things with you that you want to do. So if you want to go do something fun, you have to either rely on somebody being available, somebody wanting to do the same thing as you. Because of course, when my kids are younger, I could just make them do stuff with me that they didn't want to do. But so now it's a lot harder to manipulate your friends into being your little doll that you can just like, here, stand here, do that. I say that, and my children were not very malleable in that way. They definitely had their own opinions and, wanted to do what they wanted to do as well. But, like if you want to do things as an adult without a built-in companionship, you can either sit around and like feel sad because you're not doing the things you want to do, or you can learn to do it on your own. And that's what we are going to really focus on, because like I love being with people. Like I really do. I am an introvert, but I'm like an extroverted introvert, I think. Like I need that introvert time to like rebuild my strength, but I do love being around people. I love my friends. I love meeting new people. I love talking to people even when I'm out being alone. But one of the best things was discovering that I really do enjoy my own company, and I didn't know that I would. So, you know.
Yeah, I think it's funny where you kind of arrive at this place because like you said, like when you're younger, like and I always think about like the high school cafeteria and the
Yes.
horror of
Ugh,
being alone there,
yes.
right? And
Yeah.
just I mean to the point that when I was a teacher and we used to have to go to the high school for like a workshop or
Mm.
whatever, you had to walk through the high school
Mm.
cafeteria there to get to where we were meeting and
Ugh,
I would walk through
PTSD.
that cafeteria and it was like PTSD where I was like and I mean, I was a grown adult at the time, but I'm
Yeah.
walking through and I might as well have been a, 15-year-old carrying a tray, like
Mhm.
looking around,
Mhm.
like, where do I go? What do I do?
Yes.
And
Yes.
just the horror of that. And I
Ugh.
always think now, like, if I could, you know, be in that situation that I was in as a teenager, like now, and just like sashay my way through that cafeteria, like what a
Mhm.
different experience it
Yes.
would be. But um,
Absolutely.
because like you said, it's uncomfortable at first, that idea
Mm.
of doing things alone, but, like, I think you
Mhm.
then reach a point where you're like, "No, I wanna do these things, and I'm just going to do them." And so we're
Absolutely.
we're gonna talk about a few solo dates and then a few side quest kinds of things just
Mhm.
from, like, personal experiences, and we
Yeah.
offer them to you joylings as things to try, and one of my favorites is going for a walk alone.
Mm.
And
Mhm.
that's a good one to do to start out slowly because if you go to like a walking path, there's a lot of people there that are
Mm.
solo
Yeah.
walkers or
Mhm.
joggers, or maybe they're out there walking their dogs, whatever.
Mhm.
So it's not one of those things where people look at you and they're like, oh, she's walking alone. She
Yes,
must not
exactly.
have anybody. Oh
Right.
no. It's not a sad thing.
Mhm.
Instead, it's like,
Mhm.
oh, look at her power walking
Yes.
down here. Good for her.
Yes.
She's getting some exercise. So it's kind
Yeah.
of an empowering sort of
Yeah.
solo date to take
It's
yourself
true.
on. And it's so good, I think, for your body, obviously, because you're
Uh-huh.
walking, but
Right.
also for your mind and
Mhm.
really getting into that zone of enjoying your own company. So walking
Because
alone is a good one.
I love that because like you're with your thoughts and it's to the point that I only really like walking alone. And when people hear that I walk, people want to join me, which I would love. So I'm always like, "Oh, I will walk with you at other times, but I don't want to give up my
Mm,
morning walks." Like
agreed.
it's because I like to just like have listen to a podcast or a book or just think and be able to speak into my into my notes app about my story ideas or whatever. And it my daughter, who's 29, is moving back home for a little while, and we were talking about her joining me in the morning walks, but she actually would be a very good walking companion because she doesn't really like to talk in general. Like we could be on like a 20-hour road trip and mostly we just
That's
sing,
it, yeah.
we just like that
Mhm,
she's not
yeah.
really she's a great conversationalist, but she just likes to not have to fill
Mm,
in the time. So I was
mm,
like, well, yeah, you listen to your thing, I'll listen to mine. She's like, perfect.
perfect.
Because I usually do have the pressure to feel like I have to talk and she doesn't. So it's
Mm,
like a whatever. So
mm,
yeah, awesome. So another thing, once you've mastered this solo walking, is something that I think was kind of scary the first time I did it. And sometimes still can feel a little uncomfortable, but it's very empowering. And that is to take yourself on a date to the movies. Now, Joylings, I want to hear if you've ever done this because I know that it is kind of like a monumental thing. Have you done this before, Christine? Have you gone to the movies by
yes.
yourself?
Mhm,
Yeah. Do you remember
yes.
like the
I don't
first time you did it?
remember. Yeah, I was gonna say, I don't remember what I saw, but I have gone. Like, when you just can't find anyone else that wants to
Hmm.
see what you wanna see, and in some respects, I think sometimes as a writer and an author, like, we tend to watch things differently than other
Yeah.
creators, like other people,
Hmm.
'cause, there's a part of my brain that's watching it for entertainment, but there's
Yeah.
another part that's saying like, "Oh, I like what they did there," or "This
Yeah. All the
character arc,"
story
or that, whatever,
structure and
so yeah, so, like, seeing it alone sometimes, like, allows you to really be able to zoom in and, not
yeah.
worry about having somebody with you, so
True. And there's that whole thing of like just there's that fear because people are walking in and you're like, are they gonna think I'm weird? Like I'm here by
mm,
myself? Or like are they gonna think I don't have anybody that loves me?
mm, mm.
But
But then the lights go down and it's dark,
I know. So I guess
so
that's a strategy, right? Like if you're afraid to do this, just come in right,
at the last
right at
minute.
yeah, just come in when it's starting. Or you know what? Go get yourself the big bucket of popcorn because you're gonna walk it off later anyway. Right?
Yep,
you know,
exactly.
and get the kind of candy you want. And heck, you know what? If you want to mix your raisinets in with the popcorn, nobody's gonna tell you no. You can do whatever you want. And if you need to get up and go to the bathroom, fine, but you don't have to take some little kid to the bathroom. Like it can really just be about you. And if you decide, hey, this was fun, I want to stay for a double feature, you can. If you, I mean, go pay for it. I'm not
Yeah.
advocating illegality.
No, yes, let's follow all the rules, Joylings, absolutely. Yeah,
But
no, I love that, I love that.
possibilities
Yeah,
are
ano
endless.
Yeah, another good one is going out to eat alone too.
Oh, big one.
That one kind of takes it up a notch. I think going for a walk and going to the movies is a little bit like not as noticeable that you're
Yeah,
alone. But when you go out
true.
to eat alone, that's a
Mm,
little bit different because that's a very
mm-hmm.
public sort of thing. Although I will say if you go somewhere that has like a bar space,
Mm,
there are a lot of people that
mm-hmm.
just walk in and sit at the bar.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah,
and again,
true.
doing something like that while it starts out as a solo date
Mm-hmm.
often evolves
Mm-hmm.
into meeting new people because you are by
Yeah.
yourself, and there always usually is other people that are by
Yeah.
themselves too, so you
Yeah.
kind of don't know what kind of connections you'll make,
Mm-hmm.
so that
True.
solo date can turn into an opportunity to socialize
Mm-hmm.
as well, so
Yeah, and even if it's
kind of
like
get the
with
best of both.
the staff, like the person making the drinks or
Yes,
something, you can have a fun little conversation at the bar,
yes.
or we were just my daughter and I when we were in Boston, we sat at a bar at to eat dinner, and there was a man next to us who had a friend like on FaceTime, and
Hmm.
they weren't
Oh,
speaking to each other. They were just like dining together, but
yeah,
apart,
yeah,
and that was kind of cool, So like you can
that
incorporate
is
others
cool.
if you want to, you know.
Yeah.
But also you can just bring a book. You can just
Mm,
sit and people watch. I have been when I've
yes.
traveled alone, I have had to find a restaurant to eat. And sometimes it's weird because like if you're a solo diner, they'll sometimes just put you in like these random places. But
Yeah.
I have heard of people who go out to eat alone a lot, and they will specifically request a better table. So like I haven't gotten to
Oh,
that
okay.
point of confidence yet,
Mm,
but they will. They'll be like, "No, I would
mm,
like to. Can I sit there, please, or whatever?" Being polite, but they will sort of advocate for themselves.
mm,
But the advantage is sometimes when you're a solo diner and you are someplace where you need reservations, they sometimes will let you come in if you're like, I'm just gonna eat. Like, I'm not gonna be chit chatting. I only need like as soon as you serve me the food, I'm gonna eat it and then I'm gonna go. I'm not gonna take a table for a
Yeah.
long time. So they'll sometimes seat you even when you wouldn't be able
Mm,
to walk in normally. So
mm.
that is a perk of that
That's an
as
advantage.
well.
Absolutely. So don't be afraid, Joylings.
Do it, do it, do it. Um, and then once you have graduated from walking, from movies, and from eating alone, next we invite you to take yourself on a date to someplace local. Play tourist in your own neighborhood. Maybe you live in a place that's close to museums, aquariums, zoos. Maybe it's a craft fair or a festival. Like Christine shared with us, I think last time, right? Did you talk about the Maple Festival? Yeah, you talked about the Maple Festival.
Yes, I
Like
did.
and that, so like things like that, like where you can just kind of go and meander around, stay as long as you're comfortable, leave if you're not, if you're close enough to go to a lake to just sit and watch the water ripple. I mean, is there anything more glorious than the sound of like
Mm,
the water lapping the shore? Like,
mm.
like
Love it.
just to be able to sit and immerse yourself in this sort of environment. Or, if you go to a museum by yourself, you just get to go at your own pace. Now, if you're someone who loves to read every plaque, you can. Nobody's going to be
Yep.
pushing you. If you're someone
Nope.
who's like, I'm not into this room, I just want to buzz through and get to where I'm interested, you can. No one's going to judge you. If you want to stare at one piece of artwork for 15 minutes, you can.
You
No
can.
one's going to judge you. So, and if you think the
Love
super
it.
popular piece that everybody goes to see is really lame and you don't want to look at it, you don't
You
have
don't have
to.
to.
It's up to you. No pressure at all.
Mm. I love it. I love it. Uh,
um
what else?
oh yeah, and so that
Looking at
then
my
you can
notes.
graduate. I was just gonna say, sorry. Once you get to like your local place, you can graduate to a nearby city. So maybe
Mm,
like you go to your neighborhood area, like a nice someplace that like you would normally go with somebody. But then you graduate to a city. So like I live not far from Boston, so like going into Boston for the day is really easy. If you live near any kind of city, whether it's like a short drive or whatever, or maybe even like a day trip where you drive 4 hours away by yourself. I know a lot of people are
mm.
afraid of that, but hey, make sure you have AAA. That's what it is in
Yeah.
America. If you're outside of the United
Mm,
States, I'm sure they have some kind of road safety thing where if you get a flat tire, they'll come and help you. Because I
mm.
think that was one of my bigger fears when I was younger and traveling by myself. Like, what if something happens? What if I run out of
Yeah.
gas? What if But now with cell phones and with AAA to come and rescue you, like it does feel
Mm,
safer. So, but
yeah.
challenge yourself to sort of go out of your normal comfort zone. Maybe drive to the mountains that are a few hours away, just like go explore, either make a plan if you're a Christine or just wing it if you're an Amanda, you know, see what you come
Either
up with.
method will work.
They
Yes.
work beautifully. Maybe switch it up sometimes. Maybe be an Amanda, but try a Christine, or be a
Yeah.
Christine, but try an Amanda. You never know, like what will you'll find because
Yeah.
you might even
Absolutely.
find that the way you are in when you're in a circumstance with friends, maybe you're a super planner when you're traveling with friends because you're in that like
Mm.
people pleasing mode or just that
Yes.
accomplish things mode, or we have to make sure we see these
Yes.
things. And maybe when you're by yourself, you're like, yeah, if I don't check things off a list, it's really okay. Like maybe I'm just gonna drive all the way here and watch the waves for 5 minutes and then move
Yeah.
on.
Agreed. Agreed. No, that is so true because I know when we travel down to Rhode Island to visit family, I'm worried about, because my husband will come and the dog will come. And so I'm worried about, do I have everything we need? Do I have the
Mm.
dogs this? Do I have that? Do I have this? Where are we going? How's everybody doing?
Mhm, mhm,
And then
yes.
when I went to see my brother and it was a solo trip and I drove, it was a completely different thing. I was
Yes.
like, I probably have what I need.
Yeah.
Off I go. And it was just so just a different
Right.
kind of
It's
thing, so
liberating, isn't it? Like, of course, we
yeah.
love to take care of our loved ones. Like that had I get joy from doing all those other
Mm.
things as well. But like, there is like a liberation about just being able to get up and go and be like, you know what? If I forgot something, I'll just stop. There's a
Buy it,
difference, like
yeah,
if you need an extra pair of socks, going to find socks for you versus going having to find socks for like five
yes.
people in the
Everybody,
style they
yeah,
like and what they want.
exactly,
So.
exactly, exactly, and so now another, now we're getting advanced here, we're getting
Yes,
more and more advanced
yes.
here, and this is something that both Amanda and I have done, and it was to go to Disney World alone, which
Crazy.
is amazing. And I mean, it's one of those things where, you go there and you see everybody's with like a big group or with their family or at least one other
Mm.
person. But I've had the opportunity to travel with someone and then they had to go to like a work thing. And I did that twice where then I just blew through the parks on my own. And then I
Mm.
did travel the whole journey completely on my own. And just
Mm.
there is something really cool about just being a solo traveler through
Yeah.
Disney World.
Yes.
Just going on any ride you want to go on,
Mm-hmm.
going on it again if you so
Yes.
choose. Also, you have the advantage that some of them are like looking for single riders and you get to
Mm-hmm. Oh,
bypass these long
so true.
meandering lines. I remember at one point I did all four parks in one day because I
I
was
don't think I've
just
ever
going
done
to.
that.
Yep. I was just going to all the hot spots that I love. And I just
Mm.
had it where I started at one, got on the bus, went to the next one, got on the bus, went to the next one. It was like a 13-hour day, but
And that
I
is
was
when
not
your
tired at
exemplary
all.
planning skills come in handy because you probably
Yes.
were like, okay, this opens at this time. This will take this long to get to here.
Yeah.
And I can like, perfect.
Yeah. And then once I had it planned, though, then it was just on
Yeah.
autopilot and I
Yeah.
just had a ball and it
That's
was just
amazing.
so cool. Like you didn't have to have a schedule or worry about anyone else or
Yes.
worry about losing anybody.
Yes.
And
Oh,
again, I
that's a
mean,
big thing
like,
there.
Disney is its own self-contained world, right?
Yes.
So you don't
Yes.
feel like nervous about getting
Right.
around because it's like you just get on a bus and it takes you where you need to go.
Right.
So
Yeah.
it's kind of a low risk
Yeah.
kind of a thing, but
Hmm.
super fun. And I know you and I both traveled separately there and we did meet up,
We
but
did.
for the
Yeah.
most
Yeah.
part we were on our own there.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I think at what we did go to the park together at one point, right? Because we were both there
yes.
for the
Yeah.
conference, right? So like,
Yes.
yeah, so it was, we went to a writer conference that was at Disney World, which was amazing,
Yeah.
and,
Mhm.
on our off time, we managed to get over there at some point. It was just so fun. um, I think you're right that Disney is one of those kind of gateway places to when
Mm.
you are really learning to embrace your solo time and wanting to experience it because, I have gone to Disney many, many times. We were a Disney family with my children, and, I loved every minute. Like, I'll go there now and kinda get very emotional because I just, like, see my children growing up there. It, like,
Yeah.
flashes before my eyes. But when they were young, you're always moving on to the next thing. We
Mm.
were very good about, like, living in the moment, stopping watching the ducks because we went a lot, so we didn't feel like we had to maximize every, like, entertainment
Mm.
minute. We could kinda but
Yeah.
there were certain things, like, I love watching, like, the little performers that come out and play. They do the little acts on the side, like, at Hollywood Studios and stuff,
Yes.
and they weren't always into that as much. They'd get hot or tired or had to go to the bathroom or whatever, so I wouldn't really get to see a lot of that. So when I went by myself, that was the kind of thing I could just prioritize my own whimsy, like, "Oh,
Yep.
this is happening and I'm just gonna do it," or "I'm gonna stop now and get a cotton candy," or whatever, or I'm just gonna so that is but you are contained in, like, a safe place. So on one
Yes.
hand, you feel a little awkward at first, I think, because there are families everywhere, and then you
Mm.
almost, like, gloat a little bit, right? Did you experience
Yeah.
this where you're just like,
Yes.
"That's not my meltdown happening over
Right.
there. I can just walk
Exactly.
away."
That's so
"Oh,
true,
look
so
at
true, and
me just buzz through the line,"
yeah, yeah, and I mean, we've both had the experiences of being there solo and with larger groups. The largest group I ever went with is we went with my husband's whole family, so that was, like, a
Mm.
lot of people all wanting to
Mhm.
see their own
Mm.
things, yet
Yes.
still have this like family
Time to be
time
together.
together. And
Yeah.
it was fun, but it
Yeah.
was a lot to
That's a lot of
manage. And
planning,
so having the opportunity to also go alone is cool
Mhm.
too. So
Absolutely. Absolutely, and they're both
yeah.
wonderful. It's wonderful experiences. Like,
Mm,
I've done the big
yeah.
group family thing. I think our biggest
Mm,
group was 16 or 17 or something, and
mm,
a lot of children. Maybe it was more. I don't know. I have to count it. But, it was like a lot of fun, but it was a lot of planning. It's almost
yeah.
like it's exhausting and it's
Yeah.
joy, you know? Whereas,
Yeah.
like, when you're by yourself, your feet might get tired just the same, you get hot,
Mm,
whatever, but it's also a lot easier to find a place to escape into the air conditioning when there's only one body to
yes.
squeeze in. So
Yes.
definitely
Yes.
perks. And then once
Absolutely.
you
And
have oh, no, good.
well, I was just gonna say too, I think too, in not going with like younger ones, you kind of can see the Disney at night life there, because
Yes.
there is that, which I think sometimes when you go with a large family group, you don't always know. So
And, I think it was my maybe it was like my 39th or 40th birthday, I decided to do like spontaneous, like that week. I decided I wanted to drive down to Florida and do the Halloween party because my birthday's in October. And they
Oh,
have like that not so Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween party.
yes.
And adults get to dress up and trick or treat.
Mm,
And I'm like, what's
nice.
better when you're going to be like, late 30s or 40? I can't remember.
Yeah.
So my mom, my sister, my daughter, and then friend of mine, I was like, hey, we're doing this. You want to do it? And she's not generally a spontaneous person, but she jumped on it with her and her daughter, and they came and we like drove through like a hurricane. We had to get diverted off the highway. Oh, we didn't know the hurricane was happening, I don't think.
Yeah.
I was kind of reckless at that time. But like we had to like go around like hours out of the way. We were like lost in Times Square at some point, and it was like straight down there, 3 days of just crazy Disney action. And then straight home, we were exhausted. It was the most fun. And trick or treating as an adult in Disney World is actually like the best thing ever. Like, we promote play here, we promote
Mm,
childlike wonder and just being, pleasing that inner child. And this will do it. So Disney is like
sounds like it.
really crazy priced now, especially.
Yeah.
But if you ever can set aside a little fund for yourself, like Joylings, make
Mm.
it a goal. We might have to have like a Fiction Fairies field trip there for Halloween sometime, I think.
Oh, maybe. I haven't been since the time that we were there for the conference, to be honest. I haven't been
Really?
back since. So, yeah, no.
Yeah.
I had a relative that lived in Florida, so we used to go down there and he doesn't live there
Oh,
anymore either. So that we didn't do that either. And the business trips that my husband was going on, he
don't
changed
do those anymore.
where he worked, so those didn't
Mm-hmm.
work. Yeah, and we just but there had been a time like cuz I went there on my honeymoon and then like
Mm.
within like a 7-year span we had gone like 9 times. So it was kind of like a crazy thing, and then I went the solo trip, and then I was like,
Mm-hmm.
"Okay, I need to, like, let this
You've
breathe a little
yeah,
bit," and,
yeah.
yeah, so
Well, that was me too. I was obsessed with it for a long time. We had annual passes, so we'd go down like 4 times a year because I'm like, and we'd drive and we'd stay really cheap places. Like we did
yeah.
budget trips, but and when you have an annual pass and you go 4 times, the last two are like paid for. Like, you don't pay any extra,
Oh,
and you get
okay.
free parking. Like, there were perks. So it was
Mm,
like, and we would pack like peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. Like, we did the bargain thing,
mhm.
But yeah, I hadn't been since like 2017, and then I just went this last fall with my nanny family.
Mhm.
They took me, and it was
Oh,
really
right.
fun. It was fun. But anyway,
Mm,
enough about
cool.
Disney. We could do a whole episode on that. But
Yes.
we are moving on because now you've graduated. You've been to the Disney thing, or if you have a local theme park, a Six
Mm.
Flags, Universal,
Doesn't
whatever
have
you
to
have
be Disney,
around.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Mm.
of course, we advocate for Disney. Disney, if you'd like to sponsor this show.
Yeah, no. Well, and I do advocate for, like, an amusement park because that's where you get the childlike joy and
Yes.
being alone and enjoying
Yeah.
that childlike joy is the thing,
And you
so
can go and buy yourself like that $8 ice cream or whatever. And like, you don't have to listen to
yes,
anybody whining. You just get your own. You just do what you want to do.
do it.
So, so then once you've graduated from this, we are going to suggest traveling. And this is where I have earned my queening. So, very excited to share with you that one of my favorite things. I love to travel. I've always been a traveler. I only started traveling internationally about 8 years ago. It was kind of a goal of mine. Before that, we did a lot of road trip adventures within the United States. But then once my youngest turned 18, I was like, I'm moving on to my traveling to Europe. So, and at first my kids would come with me as young adults. They chose to come. And now, my boys have their separate things they do. My daughter still travels with me when she can, but I travel a lot alone. And I don't know. I don't know how I can like really get across to you how joyful it is to travel by yourself. Because like, okay, I love being in airports. Like, I love that whole vibe. Like, I can bring my laptop and work or book or whatever. I just love it. I love people watching. The whole thing is very exciting to me. Being on a plane and not having to like talk to now, I do love when I travel with friends and getting to chit chat. I do love that. I'm not like
Mm,
knocking my friend or family trips because those are all very special to me as well. It's just a different kind of thing, and I think when you
mm,
experience it, like, I think so many people are, like, afraid to travel alone, and I'm just here to say, don't waste your life waiting for other people to do it with you because you'll miss out on
mm,
so much. Like, I've done several long trips. I do a lot of short, like, Wednesday to Sunday kinds of trips when I can fit them in or when I can, budget it. But I've done several longer trips, like 10 days, like driving around the north coast of Scotland by myself. And that was glorious because I didn't have to plan anything because I'm like, you know what? worst case scenario, all the hotels are booked up and I have to sleep in my car. It's only me. I can curl up in the back seat. Like I can rough it, like it's not
Mm,
that it's not like a deal breaker where I would never do that if I were traveling with a friend. I would never risk
sure.
that. No, I never had to do that because I was like, I could be flexible because it's just me. And I know that I can go on and look up and say, oh, this place has a room and it's 3 hours away in the direction I'm going. I'll just drive, if I planned early enough. Like I was like loosely planning, but it was just sort of a joyful thing. I didn't have to worry about like risking anybody else's health or happiness. And then another
Mm,
time I went by myself and I did like Madrid by myself and France. I did Paris and then a lot of like the smaller villages and then um, London and like all these things. And it was just so much fun. Like it's challenging because especially when you're in a country where you don't speak the language, it can almost feel isolating and it also can be a little fearful because you don't have anyone to kind of like hold you up courageously. Like when I'm trying to
mm,
order food and like Spanish, I used to be fluent in Spanish after high school and college. And I've lost a lot of it, but I can kind of pick up on it. I could communicate if I had to, and I can read it fairly well. Right? French, man, I can't speak a word of it. Like I cannot say I do not know the accent. I can't emulate it in any way. And the French people were very kind to me when I was there, but a lot of them really don't want to speak English to you, especially if you're not trying. And I mean, I don't blame them. I don't.
mm.
But I can't know every language of every country I travel to.
No,
And it was a
no.
little scary because the foods I eat are a little limited. Like I don't eat like a lot of meat and things like that. So I'm really scared ordering food and whatever. So anyway, it was scary, but it also puts you out of your comfort zone, which
Sure.
is really good and healthy. And then when you're done, you're like, I did it. And when you're
Yeah.
traveling alone, you can literally drive 3 hours to go sit on the beach and either sit there for 6 hours if you want or 5 minutes. And it's only up
Mm,
to you. And it's only up to
yeah.
you. And only having to look out for your own well being is just, it's a gift. So give it to yourself. So,
That's cool. Yeah, yeah. So I haven't done that yet, travel internationally alone. So that's gonna have to be on
no.
my to-do list. Yeah. So one other thing I wanted to bring up about solo dates is so I've been going to a lot of poetry events. So I go as a solo person, but obviously once I get there, there are other people there. But the thing that I've noticed in doing those two things, actually, one, in going to these poetry events by myself, I'm kind of learning things about
Mm,
myself on these side quests that I didn't necessarily know.
mhm.
And it's also cool to be making connections to people who like the same things that I like. But the other thing that I noticed, and it's happened on several occasions now, I went this last month, it was poetry month, so there were a lot of poetry events, and I went to a great many of them. I tried to hit as many as
Mhm.
I could. And what was interesting is that a lot of them were like, sitting and listening to poetry or reading poetry, but you still are a part of the audience in some aspect. And
Mhm.
like afterwards, after the poetry reading was done, people would kind of mix and mingle. And I'm not really a mixer or a mingler. So I
Mm.
kind of stayed in my seat. And what was interesting is that people came to me
Mm.
to talk. And I kind of was like, well, that's kind of because I think sometimes when you're on, with somebody else, people
Mhm.
don't come
They won't
over to
approach
you because
you,
they're like,
right?
yeah, they're like, well, they're already with somebody and they're already,
Yeah.
have their own people there. But like when
Right.
you're just sitting by yourself, it's
Uh-huh.
like you make yourself available
Yes, you're opening
and
up to an
like
interaction.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it's almost like you're sending out like this kind of frequency
Yes.
where you're like, I'm open to talk to you, like come on over. And it's happened multiple times. Like the first time it happened, I was like, well, that's an interesting phenomenon. But then
Mm.
it's happened like 5 and 6 times now, and I'm like, this is kind of strange. And I think back to again my high school, cafeteria story. And imagine if you had the confidence then to just sit at the table
Mhm.
by yourself, like would people have
Mhm.
come over?
Well, and that's the
Maybe,
thing, because so many
So
people are looking for those connections also, so, like, it
right,
would if
right.
you're just sitting looking happy and approachable, you know?
Yeah,
But
exactly.
I think it's time for your queening, my friend, because I
Oh,
am going
okay.
to crown you
Might
the
be right.
queen of taking a solo opportunity and building
Okay.
community out of it.
All
Oh,
right.
lovely,
There
lovely.
we
So,
go.
happy
Got the
queening.
tiara.
we're building that community from a
We
solo
are.
experience. And it's not because you were like desperate for people. It's just that you were enjoying
No.
yourself and people probably responded to your energy and were like, oh, she seems like someone fun to talk to. And you end up with a community, which is like really
Yeah.
nice. And people are being kind and welcoming. And
Yeah,
yeah.
and I think there's when you're when you go out on a solo date, there's like a little bit of confidence that you're sending out there that
True.
maybe you wouldn't have otherwise, and I think that is a little magnetic to the
Absolutely.
other the other bees around you. So,
I think so, and, when you mentioned that, like, like, there's so many times that I can think of where I've been traveling by myself and I'm checking into a hotel or bed and breakfast or whatever, I'm talking to the lady that's working there, and she's so inspired by me going by herself, and we get to talk about it, and she shares her fears, and I help her with those, and she's like, "I'm gonna do it," and that is the best feeling. When you can
mm,
inspire someone to, like, do something that maybe they wouldn't have done, that is really a great, great feeling, so
mm,
I hope we're inspiring our joinlings. And
yes, yeah.
now we all have our solo dates. We want to hear about it. Let's do it. If you have something that we didn't mention here, give us some
Mm.
inspiration. We might want to try something new.
Yeah,
One thing
those
I
are
want to
just
try,
examples.
I want to go to a concert by myself sometime.
Oh, I've done that, that's
You
awesome.
have? You have. Okay.
Yes.
All
Yeah.
right.
No, I mean, nothing too crazy.
Uh-huh.
Here they have these outdoor concerts
Mm,
on a place called Dog Mountain, which is super cool.
mm.
And so I had gone to that, and that's awesome because, and it was music that like nobody else around here likes. So I was
Okay.
like, you know what,
Nice.
I'm gonna go to this. So I
Do it.
went, and it again another cool experience. And again, something like that you are going as a solo person, but you're there with everybody else who enjoys
Yes.
it, and so now you're part of a fandom, and so you're
Yes.
kind of not alone anymore. But yeah, totally do recommend that.
We
Yes,
do love fandoms here on Fiction Fairies. We
we
do have
do.
an old
We
episode
do.
about that.
Yep.
So we've got our solo dates. Now we're going to move on to our side quests. This
Mm,
is kind of like the off the path, like going deeper into learning something, maybe, or learning
mm,
about something. It could be like unrelated things. They're basically like just kind of feeding your creativity because we love creativity. So, this is how we're going to inspire creativity today. So, joining things like, for example, I love side quests. I'm like,
mm.
I think I could earn another queening on side quests. That's like my whole life,
Yes.
just side
Yep.
quests. I think they call it squirrel. So I love to develop new interests. So, some of the things I've joined is like our local garden club where I've made some great friends and I've learned a lot about things that I had no idea about. And they're a great community, like minded people, just like very encouraging, kind. They do a lot of good things.
Mm,
I took a sewing class. That was so much fun while my interest lasted. It was
mm.
great to kind of build, just going off and doing something. I was never a sewer, so like it was just fun to learn. Obviously, like all the writing classes and things that we do, and like you meet people. Like, I mean, Christine and I met because of a writers group. We never
Yeah.
would have met, and how sad
No.
would I be if we
Yeah.
never met? Like that would be a very sad
Yeah,
thing.
super sad. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah, and nowadays too, with I do a lot of online side
mm,
quests, and I like how you said, while I was interested in it, and that's the other thing too. Like side quests can be things where it just piques your interest, and
yeah,
you go for it, and maybe you're obsessed with it for a while,
yeah,
and then you never go back to it,
yeah.
and that's fine. That's part of what makes
You're
it a side quest.
playing,
It's like
yeah.
exactly. So I've done a lot of side quests to like learn things as like you, Amanda, with
Mm,
gardening and sewing, we just
mm,
like to learn stuff. So
mm-hmm,
I've taken yoga side quests and sound
mm.
healing side quests and nature
Love that.
therapy. I just finished a sacred ceremonies side
Oh,
quest, and
so
those
cool.
are all kind of related. Obviously they might be used for something, but in
Mm,
essence it was just sort of like, hey, that sort of interests me, and
yeah.
I'm just going to go try, learn that, check it out, so
And the
yeah,
thing with it
so
too is
it
as a creative person, you don't know when these things are going to make it into your books. Like you
no,
don't know when you're going to utilize these skills or just this knowledge to
exactly.
create a character
Yep.
or just whatever. So whatever kind of creative person you are, feeding your mind and just playing not only
Mhm.
inspires your creativity for other things, but it also you might use that information.
Yeah, on that note, the last book in my Hartley's romance series that comes out in August,
Mhm.
that the heroine in that does like sound bowl yoga
Well,
and
there you
stuff. So
go.
all of that did make its way into that for sure.
Nice.
So yep.
Nice.
So yeah, side quests often come with knowledge acquisition that can be
Yes.
used somehow. I don't think it ever
Absolutely.
goes to waste.
Never. Never.
No.
Never. And then, hey, you know what? A side quest, saying yes to collaborations. Now,
Yes.
collaborations have become one of my most favorite things because I've been able to collaborate so many times now with Christine on so many different things, and we just have more and more coming. And, you know, the collaboration we did with Dorothy, just so much joy. And even with this podcast, being able to invite author friends on here to meet other people that we maybe didn't know, you know, like we just have so many
Mhm.
goals and so many things we want to do. And, you know, to just really embrace this finding joy and creativity and spreading it. And, you know, that is, if we were too afraid to step into that, we'd miss so much. And, you know,
Yeah.
we're just shy
Yeah.
little
Yeah.
fairies.
This
But we're
this is the kind of thing that was like a side quest, but it's turned more into a main
it
quest
really
at
has,
this
yes.
point.
Yeah, because
So,
when we
yeah,
started, we're
yeah.
like, "Ah, even if we just do
We'll
5 or
just
6 episodes, we'll just try it." Now we're like,
yeah.
"We're not giving it up."
No. No, we're having too much
Too
fun, so,
much fun.
yeah. The other thing with side quests, that make them kind of easy to do, because you can just have a simple change in direction, like, for the
Mm,
joy of it. So,
mm,
they allow you to get off of your, like, main life path and just explore some other
mm.
things just for the joy of it, just for the
Yeah.
interest in it. And even, like, things like a change in routine, so,
Mm.
taking a different ride way to get home,
Yeah.
or going for a joyride, like, just and
When's the last
seeing
time you
where
did
you
that,
end
right?
up. Yeah,
Mm.
just see well, gas is expensive,
I
but,
know, we're not doing
um,
it.
you
We'll
know
just sit in the driveway and pretend we're
yes, yeah, that's where you have to use your writer's imagination and pretend that you went on a
enjoying
joyride for the
creativity.
budget, yes. So well, and I mean, that actually brings up a good point, like, solo dates and side quests can cost as much or as little
Mhm.
as you
Yeah.
have,
Yeah.
really. I
Yeah.
mean, so yeah,
Yeah.
I think there's something in there that you can take a solo date and you can take a side quest no matter
Mhm.
what your
Yeah,
economic
100%.
situation is. So that's what makes it cool also.
Well, that's true
And
because, like, you
side
no, sorry. I was just gonna
Go
say,
ahead.
like, yeah, if
No.
you have a little bit like, you can go sit in a Panera by yourself and just watch people and just, like, get a
Yeah.
refillable tea or coffee, you know, like, it
Yeah.
does not or you
Right.
can just sit by yourself, like, they're not gonna kick you out if you're not buying something, you know, like,
Yeah.
it really can or going to the library by yourself and just, you know, there's always
Right.
community happening there or, you know, like you said, the walk in the park or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, and both of these solo dates and side quests can be so personal to you.
Mhm.
So, and that's kind of the beauty of it, because I think
Yeah.
too, like, especially as women, we do spend a lot of time, like, catering to other
Right.
people's needs, and
Yeah.
what do you want to do,
Mhm.
and what do you think is fun, and I'll go along with that. I mean, I know you can probably think of thousands of examples where
Mhm.
you've gone to do something that wasn't necessarily
Mhm.
joyful for you, but it was
Right.
joyful for someone else, so you went
Mhm.
along.
Mhm.
So,
Yes.
and I think we do those things in
Mhm.
life. That's part of
Yeah.
connecting with other
Yeah.
people, and that's necessary too. But I
Mhm.
think going on solo dates and side quests is a way to,
Mhm.
like, really know yourself better and to cater to the things that bring you individually joy, and that's
Mhm.
important.
Mhm.
So,
And that's
um,
so true too,
and
because like as a parent, like I know that I co-opted a lot of my children's interests because they were so interested in it. So I immersed myself in it with them. And as they got older, I had to kind of rediscover what did I like what kind of things do I
yes,
really enjoy? And I enjoyed all those things because I was with them and because it brought them joy. But yeah, like just giving yourself that space to know yourself is valuable.
right, right. So solo dates and side quests kind of help us be more brave, more
Mhm.
joyful, more creative, and aware of your own needs. And
Mhm.
again, opportunity to learn more about yourself and what you like, what you don't like. And just kind of really get in tune with truly what brings you joy.
Yeah. Yes, absolutely. I love that. I
Yeah,
hope
you got to try
everybody
it, Joyly.
I hope everybody really listens to this episode and like finds inspiration because
Mm,
this is play, this is being weird, this is being whimsical. This is all the things that we really promote. So we want you to have this
yep,
joy and whether it's big or small. So what do you think? Should we do a
absolutely.
little check in for a sprite spell?
We should. We should.
Okay. All
Let's do
right.
it.
So for this sprite spell last time, we discussed taking an original creative work and spinning it into a new direction using its core building blocks. Okay. And then kind of like spinning up. So I did okay. I think I don't know if this will count. Tell me if this counts. I'm actually taking an old book that I wrote long time ago. It's a book I've
Mm,
always had some issues with that it didn't really thematically fit with the rest of the series. And I feel like it kind of affected read through. Like I just there's always been something that's bothered me about it. So I took it and I dissected it and I kept the core building blocks that I had of like the characters and like sort of about their relationship, but I like changed a lot of things in it to make it like a deeper theme, like just more like emotional resonance. I gave it a whole different backstory, especially for my heroine. But so like it is sort of like what we talked about. It's just I was the original creator.
Mm. I don't see that that's, anything's wrong with that. Not at
So
all.
yeah, that's what I've been working on.
So
But it was actually really fun because it was playing around with my own work, and you do get
yeah,
attached to your own more than you get attached to somebody else. So killing
that
some
is
of those
true.
scenes and those aspects, it was a little bit of a challenge. So how about you, Christine? How'd you
Yeah.
do?
Yeah. I would say more for me was going back to reading someone else's when I mentioned Michelle Miles'
Mm.
book and her
Mm-hmm.
take on Beauty and the Beast. So I can't say that I looked at anything, else and tried to remake it, but looking at how someone else took
Yeah.
something and remade it
Similarly. Mm-hmm.
was illuminating to me.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, I had hopes of like doing something like non-writing related, like looking at like
Mm.
artwork or something. I do get into these things where like all of a sudden I'm like I want to make something. So
Yeah.
and I do feel that coming on. I don't know
Mm-hmm.
if it's because of like spring or whatever.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
maybe in another episode I'll be able to
Yeah.
report that I did kind of take something and remake it.
That
So
sounds
we'll
good.
see.
Well, you just need
Hmm.
the weather to get, warm enough that your hands aren't freezing when you try to do
Yes.
something kind of art.
That is true. Yes. Yeah, where I'm not like
I know. It's
yeah,
crazy.
it's
So our
true.
new sprite spell for this episode, of course, I bet you can guess, Joylings. Are we becoming predictable? I don't know.
Maybe.
But this is a good one, and we want you to do it, and we want to hear about it. So your sprite spell is to go on a solo date or take a side quest. Treat yourself nice, whether it's just with something financial that you want to like indulge in something for yourself or something as precious as your time. And I know you probably feel like you don't have time and you don't have money. Those are excuses. There's something you can do. Go for a walk. Right outside, right
Yeah.
outside. And if you can't walk, then maybe like sequester yourself into a part of your room where it's just you and a movie that you pick with a
Mm,
meal that you chose that you get to have by yourself
yes.
while everybody else takes care of themselves. So just
Yeah, and that's as simple as putting a do not disturb sign out on the doorknob. That's
you
it. And
deserve
I
it.
mean, yeah. I mean, how long is the movie? Hour and a half, 2 hours,
Yeah.
you
Take a
know?
bubble bath,
Definitely.
like by yourself. Like just
Absolutely.
get out there,
Absolutely.
go to a coffee shop, go, check out a new store that's come to town. You know, it could be simple, it could be elaborate, it could be you.
Yep.
Take a
Yep.
class,
Just the
whatever.
idea is just to be you and something that interests you.
And if you're
So,
worried that people are going to invite themselves, because that happens, people get excited. Don't tell anyone till after. Just keep it your little secret.
yes.
Like a
Yes.
secret indulgence, just spoil yourself.
Yeah. Report on it afterwards.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
And
So we'll see how we did with this new sprite spell in the next episode. And Joylings, tell us about your progress on this sprite spell or on any of the other ones. You can comment wherever you listen or watch the episodes, or you can DM us on social media. Our
mhm.
links, as always, are in the show description and on the About tab of our Fiction Fairies Substack.
Fantastic. And I think that's it for this episode where we did not keep it short. So our
No,
apologies, people, but we hope you
we can't do it.
enjoy our babbling as much as we love to babble to you.
Yes.
Maybe someday we'll like put out like a 20-minute episode. You'll just have to put a gag on me because I thought maybe not having caffeine would help, but it didn't. So I just love you guys. I just love the
Yeah, we're
joylings.
having fun.
We are. And if you enjoyed the Fiction Fairies podcast, hit that like button, please. Subscribe to us. Make sure you check your spam. Apparently,
Mm,
sometimes our Substack emails might be making it into the spam folder and they don't want to be there. That's not where they find joy. They want to come into your
no.
inbox. So if you don't get it
Yes.
on a day when we're supposed to be releasing, just maybe check the spam
Check
and
that spam. Mhm.
whitelist it. Get us into your inbox, please.
Mhm.
If you would find us on social media, we would love to see you there. So, leave us a review, perhaps. And of course, tell everyone about the podcast and spread the joy. Get your friends playing with you. Maybe you can start a
Yes,
little like
yes.
community of people who just go on
And
solo dates and report back.
Yes. And if you're a creative person and want to be a guest on the Fiction Fairies podcast, there is a form in the show description and on our Substack to contact us.
Yes,
And we
wonderful.
love having guests. Love
We
having
do.
guests.
We do. And now we'll leave you with the glimmer challenge of asking you to find and spread joy today. Farewell, joylings. Waving my
Farewell, Joylings. See you
wand.
next time on the Fiction Fairies podcast.
Bye.
Bye.